So good day everyone. This is our video reporting of Group 11, which is Tourism Development. So I read the learning outcomes. At the end of this chapter, you should be able to first determine the relation between tourism planning and tourism. Second, explain the rules of the public and private sector in tourism development. Third, describe the characteristic of individual tourism development projects. Fourth, discuss the steps in the tourism project evaluation and analysis system. Fifth, clarify the role of government financing incentives and tourism development. And last, analyze the private sector financing for tourism development.
So I am Jasanti Amante. So the topic that I will discuss is about the tourism development. So the tourism planning process is designed to produce growth strategies and objectives for the destination area related to the tourism development like marketing, industry, organization, and awareness, and the other support activities. So ang planning TI is gaplan sila kung usa na pag-grow ang usa ka destination, sa nila pag-improve. Mura sila kuan gani kung unsaan nila pagkuan ang mga awareness, mga needs sa pananitan. For example is nagplan sila nga mag-imog hotel, mura sila gaplan kung mga unsaan nila pag-improve, sa nila pag-grow, and unsa nila pag-promote ang usa ka lugar. So the tourism development plan, or the other hand, provides overall guidelines for development outlines through development concept and identifies individual development opportunities for their LDF analysis through feasibility studies and cost-benefit analysis. So kani mura siya gahatag og idea sa usa gani ka lugar nga murag ilahang tukuran og building like hotel, transportation, like sa attraction pa lang daan, di ba? Is pangitas lang ko sa ka lugar nga murag makita tanan nga murag improving kayo ba murag kana ganing nakita sila ko sa lugar nga tukuran nga murag makita tanan like attraction, transportation, mga inana. So on the other hand, di ay kay ang planning is deciding what to do and how to do it. So ang development kay putting those ideas into actions. So there are the rules of the government and private sectors in tourism development. So inani mo na naman gina siya mga rules, diba? So the government and private sectors have important roles in the tourism development. The role of the private sector is more limited and more clear-cut. Its principal role is to provide tourism facilities and services to the traveling public while maximizing financial returns. So this both government and the private sectors is very important roles in helping tourism grow. Ang private sectors is dili na ako siya basahan diri sa podcast na. So ang private sector in short is like main job siya is to provide siya services and facilities like hotel, restaurants, and mga tours. To tourists and para maka-earn sila og money. Mura siya og come up og ideas gani mga financial risk and also invest sila og money. So non-profit private organization also play an important role in tourism development in many destinations. This organization includes chambers of commerce, travel association, foundation, historical and cultural societies, recreation and sport association, religious groups, and the like. The roles played by the groups vary, but typically they operate attractions such as historical, culture centers, museum, art galleries, and recreation communities hall. So ang non-profit organization is mauni ang private groups gani na wala siya ga-focus sa paghimo og mga wala siya ga-focus sa paghimo silang mga kuan ba marag silang mga kita ang mga money, mga tubo ba or profit, but still gatabang sila sa usa ka tourism. So in short, ang private businesses build and run tourism services for profit. So while ang non-profit is groups help promote culture and community through tourism. Matugingon sa mga historical, cultural center like museum, art galleries, recreation, and community hall. So both work together with the government, not shown in detail in the text to grow tourism. So ang duha is katabang Japon siya sa tourism but lahi-lahi sila og idea. So let's proceed to the reason that conflict between public and private sector arise due to the following. The first one is the private sector is not willing to finance the development of the project because of its limited profit potential. The government, however, has given to the project high priority due to its regional economic contribution of its pivotal role in encouraging tourism activity. So the private sector is want to invest if there's little chance to earn a profit, but the governments might still support the project because it helps the local economy or promotes tourism in the region. So ang private sector di ay kay murag dili sila mo invest pag murag little earn profit ra gani murag gamay ra ang ilahang murag makuha nga profit. So while ang government di ay kay might still mag-support Japan sila sa usa ka project because it helps daw sa mga local economy and makatabang sila sa pag-promote sa tourism in the regions. So, the second one is existing tourism facility that is bankrupt cannot be sold in the market. Those the government feels obligated to buy the facility. So, murag ang tourism business gas mabankrupt gani is walay mo palit. So, ang government murag ang government ang mo palit gani even if it's not profitable. So, pag murag mabankrupt ang tourism, ang murag ang musalo is ang government, sila ang mo palit. So the third one is government stand to provide low-cost vacation opportunities for disadvantage. So ang government ang mo help sa mga poor or elderly people to enjoy their affordable vacation. So, ang tawag ani is social tourism. The fourth one is the government wants to encourage private sector development by initiating new types of development through demonstration or pilot project. So, ang government tries to inspire private businesses by starting new and experimental project like gitawag diri demonstration, pilot or demo project. So individual tourism development projects are generated either through the tourism planning process or by the private sector. And in destination with a tourism plan, the public sector may identify development opportunities for private sector investment. All individual tourism development opportunities must be carefully researched, must be carefully studied so that make sure sila nga it is a good idea or before their construction. So there are the 9 criteria which will assist a government agency in identifying desirable project or the economic following. So the first one is economic contribution. Kani is how you should create a good job and help the local economy grow. The second one is environmental impact, which is environmental protection. The project should follow the rules that protect nature and the environment. The third one is social and cultural impact, which is the safety. So should not harm the way we live on their culture. So the fourth one is competitive impact with good for local businesses, which is should work well with other tourism businesses and not hurt them. So the fifth one is the tourism impact, which is the tourism value, which should attract more tourists or help improve services for visitors. The sixth is developer and operator capabilities. So this is the qualified people in charge of the project should have the skills and experiment to run it well. So the the number 7 is compliance with policies, plans, and program. So this one is follow local rules and plans which should match the area's tourism rules and development plans. The 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 number 8 is equity contribution, which is the investor support, which is people funding the project should have enough money and be ready to invest. So the last one is the feasibility. The project is profit generating and it is economically feasible, or what's that? So make sense financially. Should be able to make money and be with doing financially. So there are the steps in the tourism project evaluation and analysis systems. The first one is the pre-feasibility of the study. So pre-feasibility study or feasibility study, this is the quick check to see if the project idea is worth exploring further. So the site analysis second is how the studying the location to see if it's good places of the project. I-check nila kung tsada ba ang places or yeah. So the third is the market analysis, which is checking in if there are demand for the project from a tourist. The fourth one is the economic feasibility analysis, which is seeing if the project can be successful and make a money. The fifth one is the cost benefit analysis. The cost benefit analysis is comparing the cost with the benefits to decide if it's a good investment. The sixth one is the government financial incentives and tourism development. So this is the looking at any government help like tax breaks or grants available for tourism project. The last one is the private sector financing for tourism development. This is the funding out if private companies or investor are willing to put money into the project. So this is very important if maghimo ka isa ka building, kay if wala ni siya dili nimo mahimo ang usa ka building, mahimo nimo siya, but if daghan kay siyang mga issue, so dapat is naa jud ni siya if maghimo kag building, magplan ka og himong mga building para ang mga tourists, mga mo visit is nice siya, and ang mga profit nimo is study nimo, and kailangan nimo siya i-study if maghimo jud ka sa ka lugar, because very important yun na siya, kay dako kay na siya nga building if imo na siyang i-build. So this is the last of my discussion. So the second reporter is I will give to Mr. Ricato. So now we all know that if maghimo kag isa ka project is kailangan jud ni siya tanan. Like sa last one, di ba? Nabutang diri nga 7 steps para ang imuhang project is good siya, wala siya marag issue. So the topic that I'll discuss is like all about gid siya, kung unsaon siya pag-promote, unsaon siya paghimo, unsaon siya pag-plan, unsaon siya pag-develop sa usa ka sa usa ka lugar or sa ka building imong himuon or sa ka hotels nga imong i-promote or unsa nimo siya pag-grow. And that's all.
So, thank you, Miss Amante. So, next is free feasibility study. It determines the justification of more detailed economic feasibility study of a project and the subjects which the detailed study should tackle. So, unsa di ang free feasibility study? So, usa siya ka study nga gihimo aron to know kung unsa ang mga project nga angay ipadayon nga to sa absolute nga feasibility study. So kini kay usa ni siya ka mas simple og pinakabarato nga pamaagi or way sa kaysa usa ka absolute nga feasibility study. Og kini gigamit ni siya aron ma-filter ang mga dili maayo, so kato mga bad gani, so dili siya makuan ani mo ni siya nakatsada sa pre-feasibility study. So kuan niya magamit siya sa mga dili maayong idea or like ganon, yun ana siya, gets? Also mao po ni siya ang kini po siya mamiong nga go or no, or mao ni siya magdala nimo og decision sa pagsugod pa lang. So makaingon ka nga mo go ba ka or mo no ba ka. Kini nagkuan po siya sa murag pagsusi gani sa mga unang mga aspect sa mga giplano, like makain ka nga if sakto ba ni mo go ba ka or dili. So mas tsada gid ni pre-feasibility study. So the next is site analysis. A large proportion of tourism-related projects require physical site location. An economic feasibility study can either specify a site or determine if any appropriate site exists with a geographic area. So ang site analysis kay mo siya pinaka-simple nga kuan pag-explain nga mao ni pa maagi sa pagproseso to study or to balance sa mga usa or asa sa usa ka dapit aron to know ang iyang mga kinaiya or iyang mga attitude maunsay angay ba kini or dili ba kani angay, so mao ni siya site analysis, like i-site ginimo ug unsa jud ang angay. Sa ato pa kini siyang analysis kay mao ni siya ang kani pagsusi or what we call this to know sa tanang aspect sa usa ka lugar. So para mahibaluan ko kini angay ba gamiton alang sa usa giplano nga proyekto. So ang site analysis di ay kay mao din ni siya para tuno gani kung unsa bay angay pod or dili para unsa inindot nga gamiton para sa project or unsa bay mga like labi na magtukod og mga project. So dapat like balay, building or uban pa nga mga project, so dapat gyud planuhan kung unsay angay or unsay dili para dili pud what we call this back job ang inyong project. Kaya nato ang mga problema. So again, what I say nga para ang site analysis atuning kanang ato ni hibaluan ug unsay angay or unsay dili before ta mo tukod or before ta mo go ana nga project. Kay what if kanang ma-back job di ay, so sayang kay atong kwarta, sayang kay atong budget sa pagpatukod sa project, diba? So tourism project site criteria are divided into 3 categories. So gi-divide ni siya og tulo ka category. So these are: first is market related site criteria, second criteria related to the physical characteristics of sites, and last is other criteria. So the next is focus group or Del Pick method. So kanyi di ay na before that mo discuss mo basahon sa nato ning questionnaire method. So what is questionnaire method? Questionnaire method is the most frequent project feasibility study. Questions are directed to potential users or the project or to the owners or management of competitive or similar enterprises. So kaning questionnaire method kay mao ni siya way sa pagpangutana sa or papangutana sa mga usa ka technique sa pag-kolekta or sa pag-collect sa mga like pinaagi sa pagpangutana sa mga tao gamit ang usa ka prepared nga lista sa mga pangutana. So like kaning questionnaire method kay nakaandam na prepared na ni siya, like before ka mo question sa mga tao, prepared na ni siya, like nakabahig na ni nga question. Pinaka common nga like what we call this, kaning ilabi na sa social or sa social nga like in the community. So mo ni siya siya or pinaka common nga gigamit aron maka to get the information gikan sa mga lain-lain nga tao or sa kadaghanan or sa like kanang mo ni siya gigamit sa mga to makahibalo ka sa mga gikan sa mga daghang tao or sa mga lain nga tao nga to para mas madali ang pagpahibalo nimo. Yes. So ang mga answer like ani nila like ilang mga answer ani nila like mahimo siyang quantitative or mga numbers or mahimo siyang qualitative or mga words. So this is all about na 'di ba maka kano kabalo naman kita what is qualitative and quantitative kay gi-discuss na nato ni last grade 12, 'di ba? Gets? So when we say quantitative, mga numbers ni siya and qualitative mo ni siya mga words. So the focus group method involves bringing together a small group of persons, usually 5 to 20 in one place, to focus on the particular research subject. The research team supplies an experienced focus group leader. The objectives of the sessions are to enable the group to reach a conscious choice of questions or statement posed by the leader. Mingon ta nga focus group method mao ni siya ang pinaka ay kani siya kay kani siya as a qualitative research technique that kaning gigamit siya sa mga gagmay like like what I read ganina kuanra to naglimited siya og 20 persons nga para mo answer or motubag sa inyong mga questions. A trained moderator guides a structured discussion to explore in depth their perceptions, opinions, beliefs, and experience. So, maka-answer ni sila through sa ilahang mga sa ilang mga beliefs, unsa ilang mga opinions, and also ang mga unsa ilang na experience. The goal is to gather rich, descriptive data that gives beyond simple answers to uncover underlying reasons and motivation. The interactions among participants allow for the emergence of new ideas and perspectives. So let's move on to the next method, which is Delphi method. Delphi method is another research technique often associated with forecasting but can also be applied to an individual tourism project. It also called knowledgeable panel method because it assembles a team of experts in a particular field which also serves as sounding board on alternative approaches idea. Kaning Delphi method, ang Delphi method kay usap ni siya ka qualitative research nga mao ni siya qualitative research technique nga gigamit sa mga panel of experts to reach the conscious opinion on specific topic. So mao ni siya gigamit sa mga panel to kanaging to know everything. And also it involves several rounds of questionnaires administered to the experts. After each round, the experts are provided with a summary of the responses from the previous round, allowing them to adjust their answers based on their group response. So, next is there are different forecasting techniques available to the researchers are A. Extrapolation. So, there are 3 types of extrapolation. First, linear, third, exponential, and third, cyclical. And next is B, correlation, and C, correlation, D, summation, and E, test, and F, calculating methods. So calculating methods, there are 5 types of calculating methods, which is calculation by inches, calculation by cells potential, calculation by unit cells, calculation by elasticity, coefficient, calculation by models, and lastly, the G, guesstimate. So there are 2 types of guesstimate, which is individual or group. Under group, there are 2 types of group, which is committee or Delphi process. The last part of my discussion is all about economic feasibility analysis. So when we say economic feasibility analysis, Economic Feasibility Analysis or EFA is usa ni siya ka detalyado or detailed gina kay ni siya nga study kung ang usa ka project or kan ba siya kanaangayan ba siya nga mapadayon gikan sa usa ka sa usa ka kuan gani economical nga kuan sites. So kini nagkuan po siya sa mga project nga makahatag ba ni siya or igo ba ni siya nga kita or tarong ba ni siya nga project or sites. So kani po siya kay igo po kay ni siya makakita ta aron makakalagay what we call it makatarong bata og kanang gasto og risgo, like makatarong bata og gasto sa mga sa atong economic. So dili lang kini dili lang kini siya, it's all about the sites mga sa kuan kanang all kanang kinatibuk-an nga imong nagasto og kanang imong nagasto or imuhang kaning kita, like nagkuan po siya sa mga gibalance po niya ang uban nga kuan like information, interest rates. So gibalance po niya ug unsa pud ang katong like kaning sa interest. So dili lang kay imuhang kita, so gibalance niya tanan. Like for example, maka-i-balance nimo like dili lang kay imong kita or like ang uban nimo kay ang interest pod, ang rates pod, so maka-question po ta nga, makaingon po ta nga na makaginansya ba ka ko ani, like na ba ko kita ani nga butanga or kani nga project makaginansya ba ko, di ba ko lugi. So maka-question ta na usay. So mo ni atong pirmi nga i-question as a business owner or kaning natay project, makaingon ta nga makaginansya ba ta ani, maguna-una pud ta nga mahadlok ta malugi. So be wise labi na sa atong mga project nga dapat bisan dili man dako ato ang ginansya, at least naatay ginansya nga mabalik or at least mabalik ang ato ang puhunan ganun. So thank you for listening for my part. The next topic is discussed by Mr. Ricato. The summary of this topic is the tourism development plan for a destination area provides overall guidelines for development, outlines broad development concepts and identities, individual development opportunities. Worthy of more in-depth analysis show economic feasibility studies and or cost-benefit analysis. The public and private sectors have important roles to play for tourism development. The principal role of the private sector is to provide tourism facilities and services to the tourists and at the same time maximize profits. The role of the public sector is to complement the efforts of the private sector. The public sector stimulates the development of individual tourism projects through several types of financial incentives. So that's the end of our topic. I hope nga na may nakatunan. Daghang salamat and see you next year.